Hello again, everyone. Last time we ended up learning about um, tuples and how we can use these tuples to populate lists as the tuples were used as complex variables that represented grocery items. And we're able to work a little bit more with the list by adding elements inside that list, and we also removed elements from the list, and then we're also able to reiterate or iterate the going over the items inside that list. Right now, what I want to show you, putting all these guys together. So putting it all together here, what I mean is I want to use demonstrate using a function. I want to demonstrate using tuples. I want to demonstrate using lists. I want to demonstrate using conditionals of different conditionals of different sort. I want to see some um, looping of different types. I really want to see everything that we learned in Python, and possibly 10 to 15 minutes, kind of a video lecture, so we can see how we can use all these guys together. So what I'm going to show you right now is to define a function called um, go shopping, or maybe do shopping. So in this function, I want to shop for items without really specifying the exact items that I'm buying up front. Suppose I am kind of a person that doesn't like to plan for things. I just want to go spontaneously buy a few things as I remember them, and when I'm done, I wanna go home, and I don't want to have a list of things that I need to go over. Is there a way that I can keep shopping forever until I say no? I'm done shopping. I don't want to shop anymore. So there is a way indeed that we can do this. Let's just declare a variable called shopping um, keep shopping like that. And this variable here is gonna be yes, like that, or with uppercase. It doesn't really matter. Um, we can do it that way. It doesn't matter, like I said. Now I want to use a while loop that we used a while back. And I want to say I would like to keep going. I would like to keep repeating as long as while this guy keep shopping is yes. So for as long as I keep saying yes to the shopping, to the keep shopping variable here, I will continue to buy some items. And the way we also said that we might need to buy some items, we ended up using the input function to get some values from the keyboard, and these values were able to populate items that made up tuples. So now I want to say enter the values. I want to have a print statement here that tells the user enter the values of your items. So now these values, I want to be sure to enter, say, a description. Enter your description. Okay, like that, DSC, like this. And I would like to store the description in a variable called desk, like that. And I also want to grab the price. I can never type this word correctly from the first time. So I'm just going to enter, this is enter the price, not enter the price, like that. And I also want to enter the quantity as well, like this. And enter the quantity like that. So we've seen this before. None of this is new, right? What is new now that I want to be sure um, that I enter as many items as I want until I tell the program I'm done shopping. But before I go ahead and get ahead of myself, I would like to make sure that I store these different pieces of item into, I would like to package them as a whole versus these random flying pieces. So I'm just gonna create a variable here that I'm gonna call an item, and this variable is going to be my tuple like that. And I want to also have the price been passed, and I also want the quantity as well to be packaged among all of this. And then I also want to make sure that I add these items to the shopping cart. So if I have a shopping cart and then I append, not a cat, then I append the items here like that, then my items are going to be appended, except that I don't have a shopping cart yet. So what I also might want to do is to declare or define a shopping cart variable here like this, and I'm gonna start as an empty shopping cart as always. So now I'm going to add this item. Suppose now I really want to, after I grab the first time, well, clearly when I go to the store, at least I want to get a single item, right? And it makes sense now if the program tells me you want to keep shopping or not. So now what I want to do is to use the input function here, and I'm going to ask keep shopping like this, and I am going to grab the value that I enter from the keyboard, and I'm going to pass it to this guy here to keep shopping um, variable. So whatever value that I enter here, if I enter yes, then I'm gonna go back here. If I enter no or any other value that is different from this yes here, and then if we said yes up here, then we should also say yes up here as well. So if I do that, then I'm gonna keep going here. But the key part here is that I will keep looping here until I'm done with all the shopping that I want. And if I say no, then I exit out of this loop here. Okay, so now if I am done with the shopping and I populated the shopping cart, now I want to work with that shopping cart, and I want to get out of that loop because it's still now I'm outside the loop. So now I want to check the shopping cart for items that maybe exceed a certain amount. Say I have a budget, and I told myself if an item that is more than, I don't know, $7, then I should not be buying this item. How do I do this? Well, we already saw in the previous video that we can loop for an item in the shopping cart like that, and I'm going to grab the item price, which happens to be at index 1 because it's the second element in the tuple, and I want to ask now if the item here, if this item has a price, if the price of the item is greater than, say, I don't know, $7, $7, then I don't want to buy it, this item, if it's too expensive for me. I want to put it back on the shelf before I check out. So what I need to do is to use the shopping cart, look at my shopping cart, and then start removing the items that I don't need out of the shopping cart. And that includes the item here that has a price that is bigger than um, bigger than $7 or greater than $7. So as soon as I get into this if statement here, then I'm going to be removing the item. So perhaps if I give myself a little bit of information on how the behavior of the program is happening. This is gonna give me a great deal of detail that will tell me how my program is 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 um, is behaving as it is executing, because I'm gonna be working with many different elements, and I want to see the ones that I'm repeating, and I want to the ones that I'm removing, and I want to make sure that the ones that I'm removing, they fall into this criteria here. So this is 7.0. So here removing an item like that, and maybe we want to um, have the description um, here, which is at index 0, the second index. Sorry, the first index was just at index 0. So this is going to give me a little bit of an indication of what item that I'm removing. Okay, so if I do this, then I am very likely to remove all the items that I don't want, and then at the end of the day, I can be done. I can actually return um, return the return the shopping cart, which is the list of all the tuples. I can return it at the end of the function like that, and this should give me this should be like the checkout. This is the simulation of my um, checking out check out um, checkout checkout shopping. Okay, so we now created a function that a function. Well, that's number one thing that we did. The function is currently using a while loop that makes me loop eternally until I decide that I want to stop. And then I also populate, so I also create within this function, I create tuples that I populate from the keyboard. And then every tuple that I use as an item, then I pass this tuple to a list here that I started as a shopping cart and it started empty like that. And then when I'm done with my shopping here, I want to do checking for prices. If the prices are above a certain limit that I don't want to grab in my shopping cart, say I made some sort of an impulse, and I told myself anytime that I grab something on an impulse that I have to put it back after I grab it. So this is the mechanism here. So we're basically using an if statement here. How do I check if this thing is working or not? Well, we declare the function here, or we define the function that we called it do shopping. Why don't we just do the shopping and see what the function is going to do? So I'm gonna run after I define the function here. All I'm gonna do is go in another cell. And by the way, here I'm using Jupyter Notebook because I've been having some really difficult times with the online interpreter. Last time it was causing me a lot of issues, so I decided I'm gonna be using the Jupyter Notebook instead, and we'll go over the Jupyter Notebook and how you can install it and download it and all that jazz later on. So anyways, if I run this function here, I get an error. Why? Because I actually did not run this function first. I did not run this one here. So now I have this function being defined and it's in my memory. Then I come here and then I run, and then it's going to tell me enter your items. So now the first item is my description is potato chips, and the price for that is 2.99. Oops, 2.99, and the quantity is 3. And then it's asking me if here's the interesting part. Now it's asking me if I want to keep shopping because I have this while loop here. If I say yes, then it's going to ask me to enter another item. So the second item here is salsa, like that. And the price is, this is a really good salsa, 4.5. And the quantity, I want just 2 cans of salsa. Is asking me again, do I want to keep shopping? I want to say yes. And if you realize here that this is an uppercase, so I want to make sure that whatever I enter here is an uppercase, and then we can fix this later. So if it's asking me, do you want to keep shopping? Yes. Now I'm supposed to enter other values. Um, um, Turkey bacon, like that, and say the price was 3.99, and the quantity I'm gonna get just one. Is asking me if I want to keep shopping. Yes. I want to buy this 6 pack ginger ale, and the price was 8.99, and the quantity I want to buy one of them. And do I want to keep shopping? I'm gonna say no. And yes. So one of the things that we failed to do, that we actually demonstrated beautifully in the previous example, was this. When you enter prices from the keyboard, these still come as a string. So what we should do if we want to compare a string for a number, we actually need to we need to convert that string into a number. In this case, float, because we know that we're comparing prices. Some of these prices are fractions here. So I'm gonna go back and then I'm going to convert that into a float like this. And hopefully this is going to fix my problem. I have to execute this part of the code again, and I have to start over again. So now my first item um, is potato chips, and the price is 3.99, and the quantity is 2. Do I want to keep shopping? Yes. So we can demonstrate that this thing is working. Now, I don't want to be repeating what we did in the past. So to make this quick, what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter the ginger ale that I wanted to buy, and it was for 8.99. I want to get one 6 pack. And do I want to keep shopping? For the heck of it, I'm just going to do one more item. Yes. Um, Turkey bacon, like that, and the price here is 3.29, like that. The quantity, I'm gonna get 2 of those. And do I want to keep shopping? I'm gonna say no. And now I am having another issue. It basically saying string has no attribute removing, because I can't believe we actually did the word removing as opposed to remove. We've been making some really interesting typos here, and we have to fix this. But let me show you what else we can do. We can also say or here, if we want to keep shopping, and the value that we enter is a lowercase. So now it can be yes or yes with an uppercase or lowercase. So it doesn't matter now. Now we were able to fix this. If I run it one more time, now I'm gonna enter my turkey bacon, like that, and it was for 3.29. Quantity is 1. Do you want to keep shopping? Yes. And I'm gonna use the lowercase. Yes. So now it's working. Second item is potato chips, like that. The price is, what is the price? 2.99, and the quantity is 3. And they want to keep shopping. I'm gonna do the uppercase yes. So both these two conditions now are being executed if I do it with lowercase or uppercase. Now my third item description was the ginger ale, like that. The price was 8.99, and the quantity is 1. Do I want to keep shopping? This time I'm gonna say no. And it seems that we made another mistake. It seems that we want to use the shopping cart as opposed to keep shopping. I can't believe I keep doing these things. So now, as you can see, if you use a variable and you try to treat it as if it's a list, you're going to get all different kinds of problems. If you use a function that is not defined as part of your list, you're going to get all kinds of problems. If you do not cast the values that come from the keyboard as their own data types, and then you compare them, you treat them as different data types. Well, they come from the keyboard, whether you intend for them to be strings or numbers or whatever. If you treat them as numbers and then you try to compare them without converting them, then you will never be able to get that far. So what I did today was to show you how you can what sort of errors that you can get. These are some of the comments that I received and the feedback about the lectures, and I wanted to demonstrate to you today as part of this lecture how you can do all these things, and how you can read the errors, how you can fix your error, how you can be a little bit more careful about your programming, so you don't have to do what I just demonstrated here over and over and over. So now by running this code one last time, now I'm going to enter my potato chip, no, potato chips, like that, and then the price is $2.99, quality is 1, and then do you want to keep shopping? Yes. And the second item is turkey bacon, like that, and it's $3.99, $3.29 actually, and the quantity is 2. Do you want to keep shopping? I'm going to use the uppercase yes, like that. And if I enter, the next item is going to be the ginger ale, and the price is $8.99, and I want 1 6-pack, and it's gonna ask me if I want to get another item or not. At this point, I don't. And do you think we have any other issues? I'm gonna say, do you want to keep shopping? No. And I actually don't have any other issues. And it basically told me that I'm removing this item here that I decided to remove because this item is above $7. I entered here $8.99 on purpose. So the only two things that I did, the only two things here that I saw on my list is the potato chips, indeed the first one, and the turkey bacon, which is you can really see here that they are stored as a tuple, and this one here is also stored as a tuple because we created a tuple here. And when we use these parentheses, that means we package these 3 different bits of information that we enter from the keyboard into a variable of type tuple. So by doing that, as you can see here, we were able to see the items inside the keyboard, inside the list, which is my shopping cart. Here is something that we got for free. We actually were supposed to be returning something out of this function. So this function here is supposed to be returning a variable. It's called shopping cart, or you can actually call my shopping cart. Why not? It doesn't have to be identical to the shopping cart inside, because this is it's a local variable, and this is definitely the return. Excuse me. I don't know, I keep choking today. So this is excuse me, 1 second. I apologize, I had to just grab a drink because I choked. So now if I get the shopping cart, then I will be able to operate on it. Well, clearly, if I want to work with this now and this was never been returned, then this shopping cart is going to be an empty list, and it's not even defined because I never run this part of the code yet. So if I just want to run it one more time here, like that, and I'm gonna enter some items, peanuts, price, peanuts, it's cheap, 3.39, I don't know, quantity 1, trail mix. Oh, I am so sorry. I entered, I was supposed to enter whether I want to continue or not. Okay, we're gonna enter peanuts one more time, like that, and the price is 2.99. Quantity is 1. Keep shopping, yes. Second item was trail mix, like that. The price is for 4.15. I don't know. The quantity is two of those. Okay. Do I want to keep shopping? I don't want to keep shopping. No. And now I guarantee it to you, even though this guy here was never defined before and is giving me an error here, if I run it like that now, it's going to show me the items that I entered here. And you notice that this function operated exactly the way it should be, because we only enter here 2 items, and none of these 2 items exceeded the value of $7. We had exactly the number of items that we wanted. Um, we can also do a print statement like that, in my shopping cart, and then I can print the item like that, um, and I can say purchased item, like that. And this is gonna give me all the items that are purchased one at a time. So I purchased this item here, and as you can see, the price is indeed less than $7. That's why it was not removed. And here the price is also below $7. That's why it was never removed. So this is now summarizing everything we learned from the beginning of the semester. Um, everything, really, literally everything. We learned declaring variables. Here they are variables. We learned how to use an input statement to grab values from the keyboard. We learned how to cast the values after we grab them from the keyboard, if they were supposed to be casted into floats or even into numbers. Here we did not do anything with the quantity, so that's why we didn't cast it. We used while loops. We used for loops to loop over to do iterations. We used if statements. We used or statements to say if this or that. So these are Boolean expressions. We used a tuple here. We used a list, and this list was populated by items using the append function. We used the list. We used the remove function to remove items from the list that met a certain criteria. And then we're also able to return value from this function, a value of a variable of type list that is also comprised of items. Each of these items are of type tuple. So in this lecture here, I have demonstrated to you everything in one specific little program here, everything we learned from the beginning of the semester. The most important part here, that I showed you how to work with the errors that you make, and then how you recover from these errors. Clearly, if you type a function called removing, or you run your function on a different wrong value, on a wrong variable, or you compare a string with a value of type integer, or you enter yes lowercase as opposed to uppercase. All of these things are going to cause you an error here. And if you also don't run this function here, and then you don't return a value, and you try to you think that this function has been run, and you use this variable here where it was never returned, then you're gonna find yourself having an error. So all of these errors that we demonstrated today, all of these features we demonstrated today, this is the most significant video so far, that I will be able to teach you from the beginning all the way to the end, that summarizes everything in one video. So I hope you give a very important attention to this video. I hope you learn it very well. I hope when you have questions, you reach out, you write some comments, you get back with me by email, and you let me know if you have any feedback, or if you have any inspiring examples you would like to see. I'm happy to kind of accommodate. We're coming to the end of the semester here, and I really want to make sure that I give you all the tools that you need before you finish the semester, so you feel comfortable that you really learned, and you got on a good handle of the Python programming. Thanks again for watching.